I miss it too, but like we said, I don't know how to get steady.
The Raider way, or the Raider tenets of commitment to excellence, just win, baby. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Secondary to the 23-yard. Adams, he's got it! Touchdown, Raiders! Oh, dice roll in Vegas for 6. The Raiders at the 40-yard line, and O'Connell wants to take a deep shot. And he's got Trey Tucker out there. Tucker diving, and he makes the catch inside the 10.
Stay with me on this one. Just stay with me on this one. Stay with me on this one.
This is the president of the Raider Nation. And I approve this message.
Now, if you from Oakland, if you from Los Angeles, or if you from Las Vegas, Nevada, and you love the Raiders, make some noise.
Every day I stay the same, looking like I'm going to a Raider game. No, I'm not the only one. We've been doing it like this since we was hella young. I'm just trying to state the facts. I never wear another color, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying I bleed silver. If you cut me, I don't need no painkiller. It's all silver and black. We could win or lose. We won 3 Super Bowls. We done paid our dues. And if they catch you trying to sneak in the back door, you mess around and get trapped in the black hole. It's Raider Nation. Yeah, we moved to Vegas, y'all. But you know this song ain't about football. You know where we from.
All we wear is Raider colors. No, we in the Raider colors. All we wear is Raider colors. All we wear is Raider colors. All we wear is black. All we wear is black.
Raider Nation, stand up.
Salute Raider Nation. Appreciate y'all showing up here on Saturday night at 8 p.m., 11 p.m. Pacific. Man, really do appreciate you guys. Just want to take a second and say salute to the chat, salute to the mods in the chat, man. Salute to everybody here on the panel. Really do appreciate it, man. Appreciate you, Jason. Having a long time no see, man. Really do appreciate it. Salute Billy, man. Really do appreciate you. And conversation wise. Salute Silver Driller, man. Really do appreciate you too. Salute Seth, man. Salute to all you guys. Really do appreciate all you guys stopping by tonight. So really do appreciate it. Basically, salute Sergio too, Raider Stats, man. Make sure to go follow him on Instagram if you don't follow him in already. Outside of that, if you want to give a shout out, Sergio, feel free.
Yeah, salute to everyone that's new or old in the chat watching. Salute to you, Dustin. Salute to Raider Nation. Salute to everyone.
Heck yeah, man. Really do appreciate it. So look, man, I just want to take a second just to before we hop on this topic right here, just to reiterate about our quarterback for 1 second, to watch a video, then we can get on with. We're going to watch Trey Taylor's highlight, DeCamerion, Richard, Devonshire, Dylan. The topic that we are going to have is going to be basically based on rookies that can have breakout deals. There is a topic on Raiders rookie DB receives high praise for a former coach, which is Trey Taylor, a guy that I picked that I thought was badass to begin with. So long story short, we do have a lot to talk about. And just so you guys do know, we can go over some of the topics real quick so you guys know. They won't go in order, but it will be these topics. Like I said, the one just now, Devontae Adams, hell yes, I want Tom Brady as Raiders QB. He knows how I feel. 3 dark horse Raiders who could contribute in 24. Las Vegas Raiders, bold stat predictions for the 24 season. The Raiders still have a rising assets, and second-year cornerback. Does AP need a playoff win now? And again, they're not in order. They will, but those are the topics. But long story short, this is what I do want to say real quick. All right, look. For a long time, people keep talking about that we wanted to trade quarterbacks and all these things, and that's what our main goal was. And I kept telling everybody the whole time it never was, man. I said the whole time that they had AP, Tom Telesco when he got here, how he spoke on Aiden and how good he was and how much he liked him a lot, even over quarterbacks that was in the draft. And people just want to keep going on with this BS story. And I just want to show, like, if people pay attention to what people say that are running the team and not pay attention to people that are out doing content, then they would obviously know the direction the team was going to go in the first place, So long story short, I just want to take a second. We're going to watch this video real quick, and then people know how they see him and how they seen him the whole entire time. Not just how content creators see them, like you got to always remember, man, in content, that's what people are doing. They're pushing narratives. They're pushing content. I've always said here, I'm going to try to be just as real as physically possible. I tell you guys all the time, I pay attention to all content, man. I'm all over the place all the time. So there's not much Raider content that's going to get past me that I don't see. And this is something I was speaking about in the whole entire time. And I said only if they had listened to Tom Telesco, they would have known. And then this is what he said.
That helps me being around those guys to know what it takes. It's more than just watching tape of a player, especially at the quarterback position. Because so much of the game is from here up. And, how do you evaluate this and this hard? So seeing those guys on a day-to-day basis at least helps me, for whoever down the road, whoever we take, we've got to have those same qualities.
You've never had to trade up for any of those guys. What do you think about that? Does that make you, are you less reluctant to do that? People say, well, he's never done it before, but you never really had to either.
Yeah, you just trading up at any point in a round, you have to weigh it. How bad do you want the player and how much are you giving up? And what are you losing with that? So it's just a judgment decision. And, part of that is we may think we know the player is going to hit, but we really don't, right? We just don't. You never 100% know. But you have to weigh what you're giving up, and could that set you back or can you handle it? So it's they're all judgment decisions.
Is there a price that's too high if you feel like you identify your guy? Is there somewhere you're like, I can't go past this?
Oh, I'm sure that would be this. Yeah. I know we'll explore every avenue, and I like the quarterback that we have. I mean, I thought he did a really good job last year. Rookie quarterback to come in to play the way he played in the circumstances he played in, I think that you should not discount that. I think that helps me being.
I said in the very beginning of when they seen him and evaluated him and talked about him, they said, man, he liked Aiden a lot, dude. And he even spoke about it in the other deals about how he liked him over other players, even in the draft, and if people were just paying attention to how they were evaluating the players, they would have known that they didn't have as high of, like, they didn't want as high of the quarterback as people were assuming. Listen, people assumed that we were going to go after quarterback the whole time. There were 5 quarterbacks that went in there, and we never tried to trade up for none, and one went as late as the 12th overall pick. So to imply that on our side we wanted a quarterback, I find it to be BS. And I've said it, if people pay attention to how Tom and AP valued Aiden to begin with, they would have known right away that wasn't their goal to begin with. Salute Jeffrey, man, really do appreciate you, man. Really do appreciate stopping by. But that's all I just wanted to bring up real quick about it is just because if that was in the combine, that was when people were looking at players and so on. So like I said, they were already looking at it. And I mean, I think even Mitchie was on the team by then. So again, people can just take how they want to take a conversation and twist it just so they can get views or content, but it doesn't make it facts. And then you'll get people that'll keep on pushing the fact that, oh, we were going to make a trade. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're talking with nothing, no dealing, no putting anything out, it's just hot air, man. There's no validation behind the conversation. Nothing at all. It's just somebody talking, somebody pick up a phone and call. There's no trade whatsoever, no player talk, no rounds, no nothing talked. There's nothing indicates that you're making a trade. So just because people are talking doesn't make any types of deals. If people want trades, they make trades. It happens. Like players, everything, it happens, man. So I just want to make that clear. Like, we never were intending to make a trade, man. Like, it just never was out there. We stayed where we were at and got Bowers. Like, it should just tell you guys that they never did. And for people to keep reiterating that, I just think it's just a waste of time, because if they were at any point in the time, they could have traded up multiple times and multiple places and still got a good quarterback for the team. So they never did. And just like I said, in that combine, I think we already had Mitchell on the team, and they still advocated that how much he liked Aiden O'Connell and what he did last year. It's just people out there want to, put out a narrative, and then they don't like the fact, I don't know why they don't like Aiden, but it is what it is. But they get to a point where they don't like something, and then everybody gets on this one deal, and it's like, how many of them said, oh, my sources, my sources, my sources? It's like, look at Mitchell Rands and look at Wi-Fi Willie, right? They got our players, dude, in freaking Jets uniforms, saying that, oh, they're going to go to the Jets, this, that, the other. I thought you do Raiders content, bro. Like, why are you bashing our players and talking shit on our team? Why don't you do content on our team? Like, I don't understand I don't know why and how people that have platforms that big use it to bash our team to like want to trade. I've said the whole time, they're not going to make that trade. It's not going to happen. And the only way it happens is if it just comes out and they fall flat on their face. So, which is most likely not going to happen. But again, all I say is when you have those platforms, why aren't they using them to promote players versus bash players and bash the head coach? They're bashing all kinds of stuff. So I don't know, I don't like it. But either way, You have anything you want to add, Sergio? Or
No, I'm playing.
I mean, yeah, with the whole trading in the draft, I mean, it was well established since we hired since Mark Davis hired Tom Telesco. Telesco's history when it comes to the draft, it is very, very rare for him to do a trade, even if it's like a late round trade. It's very rare for him to do anything like that. He values heavily, like, utilize what you have. Like, whatever you're given, try to make a salad out of it. That's usually his philosophy when
We'll
it
talk
comes to
about it
draft
later.
situation. So yeah, it was, especially in this draft class specifically, the chances of him trading were like 1 out of 100. It was most likely not going to happen. If not bashing on Champ Kelly, if it was Champ Kelly, I would say it would be 1 out of maybe like a 1 out of 15 chance due to pressure, especially with the fan base or maybe the locker room, something like that. Not saying that he has less integrity as Tom, but it would definitely, I do believe it would definitely be there, considering the difference would be Champ would be given the reins of a manager fully officially compared to Tom, who's had like over a decade of experience and who has been established as a GM who rarely does trades. When it comes to like sources, content creators, and stuff like that, I mean, the most annoying one that we've seen so far is the Devontae Adams one, where it's gone to the point to where Devontae Adams agents had to come out and say out of their own mouths, like, this is getting annoying. He's not getting traded. He doesn't want to get traded. Raiders don't want to trade him. That's the end of the story. And it kind
it's
of,
year after year after year that dude's been here. They've said it every year.
and it's kind of disgusted me when I heard that. And I was like, we've really reached to the point to where his agents have to come out and say something like this. And it's probably annoyed Adams. It's probably annoyed his family. Definitely annoyed his agents to the point where they have to come out. It feels like, honestly, like how it feels when people are like talking about the Jets, where Adams wants to go with Rodgers to the Jets. And my question is, wasn't the biggest reasons that we've all accepted why Adams came to the Raiders was because he was kind of getting tired of not knowing if Rodgers is going to get traded or if Rodgers wants to retire randomly. Like, that was one of the biggest reasons why he went to the Raiders. And it made no sense for him to just go to the Jets, and where you have Randy Moss randomly coming out and saying, just being a Raider hater and being like, yo, just leave, do the ring chase. Which is ironic coming from Moss, who doesn't have a ring in the first place. Especially with the Tom Brady stuff that Adams was saying. I mean, who doesn't want to play with Tom Brady? And other news that would like come out is where Adams straight up said how it wasn't even just Raiders, it wasn't even just Carr, where Adams straight up said he originally intended John Gruden to be the head coach.
Yeah.
And then obviously when the email fiasco happened, it made his decision going to the Raiders a lot more difficult, which imagine 2020 if we had Adams during that time. That would have been a crazy offense.
That is facts. That is facts. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If you imagine John Gruden, Carr, all of them here under Gruden, man, that shit would have been crazy, dude. We would have probably been smashing. All right, so we'll go. Go, man. I don't, man. Raiders rookie DB receives high praise from former coach. So it's Trey Taylor, right, man? So this is a guy everybody knows if they watched my videos and watched our videos when we were going. This is a dude I mocked. This guy I talked about. I talked about us even picking him on the draft day. Like, this guy has got massive potential, man. His what is it? His uncle is Ed Reed. I mean, this dude is really, really good player, man. He plays really tough, dude. I've said I would not be surprised if this guy takes somebody's job out here, dude. I mean, he's won the Jim Thorpe Award. He's done really, really good for who he is, you know, and just the bloodline alone speaks massive just for who he is, you know. So long story short, we'll start reading on it. It says Las Vegas Raiders had the most would consider a successful draft haul as they addressed nearly every position of need in this year's NFL draft. General manager Tom Telesco and Raiders filled many voids via free agency early in the offseason, then used the draft to fill as many remaining holes as possible. One of the positions the Raiders addressed was the safety position, where they added depth by selecting Trey Taylor from Air Force in the 7th round. Taylor last year, Jim Thorpe award winner, registered over 200 tackles during time with his team. He'd also register 6 interceptions and 3 and defend 13 passes while at Air Force. During Mountain West Media Day, Air Force coach Troy Calhoun elaborated on Taylor's traits and how much of an asset he would be value be to the Raiders. I could go on and on forever about the young man. Awesome doesn't describe how special he is as a human being, Calhoun said. A truly remarkable person with just the spirit and heart he shares with every person with which he interacts. The pure beer and competitiveness in the unbelievable drive he has to continue to improve and get better is unmatched. He's just made the best stuff through and through. Raiders assistant general manager Champ Kelly echoed similar sentiments on the talented defensive back shortly after he was drafted. Kelly and the Raiders front office made it a point to consider a player's qualities on and off the field before drafting them, and considered Taylor's worth adding to the roster. I think the things that we saw with him, first of all, speak of his character and things outside of football and his top-notch work ethic. Kelly said he's a leader both on and off the field. He amplifies everything that you want from a teammate and a person. Then you turn on the tape and you see a guy that plays the game the right way, has a physicality about his game, and he had 3 interceptions last year. We saw a guy that can come in, get acclimated to our system, potentially contribute on defense, but also come in and have a value on special teams and 4th down, and that was important for us. So just hearing that, like, how do you feel about, like, how do you like this guy? Like, how do you view this dude? Like, how do you think what the coach is viewing him? Like, what do you think?
I mean, I'm not surprised considering that even scouts and analysts from PFF, when they tried describing him, they said that even though they believe his athleticism isn't there, they believe what definitely makes him a steal, or what definitely makes him something that you should not overlook, is definitely his intelligence, because his intelligence on the field is, considering from what, like, PFF, from like the analysts were saying about Trey, were definitely that he should come out as one of the smartest defensive backs in the draft class specifically. So it wouldn't be a surprise if how the Raiders training staff can get his athleticism to boost up. It could definitely make him very dangerous with the roster, especially with the locker room and how our safeties are, because our safety room is definitely stacked with names that we have. We are, like, obviously Trayvon Morgan, Marcus Epps. Then we got Isaiah Polamalu, Christopher Smith, who's a dog. And now we got Trey Taylor. And Trey Taylor, he's been known playing in the box as well as playing deep in the field as well. So for Patrick Graham's sake, we got a whole lot of versatility with the safety room. That is definitely making the defensive back room get more and more stacked. So not saying, or not if I don't know if we're going to get surprise cuts or surprise practice squad players. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with the defensive back room considering how stacked it's getting. But Trey Taylor going to the 7th, I mean, I can see it since it's like Air Force school and all, not like the other schools that you could see here and there. But with Trey being on the Raiders, especially having influence and related to Ed Reed, you can definitely see that it's there, especially with his performance at the college level specifically. Even though whenever he's on the field, he wants the ball in his hand.
Yeah,
Not even
he plays tough, fast, and strong, man. That dude don't mess around, dude.
yeah.
Very strong person.
So
And
yeah,
Billy, we'll talk about Blue in a little bit. He's not a drafted player, so we're just talking about drafted players right now, which are going to be like Trey Richardson, Devonshire, Dillon, even like Glaze. I was thinking about bringing him up. I think I do have a deal on him, or did I not do that one on here? I think there's an article in here with him on there, which we'll get to as it comes up. But Wu, I mean, I like Wu Governor, man. He plays really good. He can most definitely make the roster, especially over a guy over like Sam Webb or somebody of those factors. So I wouldn't put it past them. If you want, let's watch a highlight on Trey Taylor real quick. I mean, this guy, man, he's a big old bastard, man, and he gets after it. He's strong, dude. He'll get over there and take it. He's fast. I mean, this guy don't mess around, man.
Yeah, even though he'll most likely not be seen defensively on the field that much, special teams, he's going to be very dangerous on special teams. Especially, I could see when it comes to field goals, they're going to use him as the guy to block the field goal.
Facts. He's a big, strong guy, man. Him, Richardson, Bennett, Devonshire. I mean, look at that. He just manhandled that bull. I would play the volume, but I don't want to get no copywritten shit, just so you guys know. And it's just for the music. That's the only reason. Mm-mm. Look, he plays in the snow. He plays everywhere, this guy. Mm-mm. Go. don't like that people. He doesn't let people gain yards on him, man. Oh, shit. Well, either way. Our defense back room is stacked there. Are going to be tough cuts for sure. That's facts, and there can be people cut this year for people like Wu. I mean, Trey's making the team for sure. I mean, just like watching the highlights, like is there anything in there that you've seen that you're like, damn?
I mean, most definitely is. He definitely gets into the other players' heads and their faces. He's a very roughhousing player, which you can like that for a defensive back and a defensive player specifically. And one thing is for certain, I mean, like I said earlier, he just wants the ball. Even if it is like a deflection, he wants to grab the ball and run with it. It's basically what I would expect him to do during preseason games if they have him play often. That his first instinct, if given the opportunity, is he's going to try to do an interception, which that would probably be best known defensively on preseason. If Trey's out there and he gets an interception like that in the highlights, because that would definitely solidify him as a very viable player in the 53-man roster specifically.
Yeah, if he plays tough, do you think he's going to make 53?
I think he should. If he just keeps focused and doing what he's doing, but at a higher level, he should. It gives like a Luke Masterson vibe. Like Luke Masterson was a player like many would overlook, but he just kept doing what he was doing at a higher level. And that interception, like I said, the interception against the Patriots, like it solidified him immediately. And then when he was given the opportunity during the regular season, he showed that he can be solid.
If he makes the team, who do you think gets cut?
Okay, let me see. Because then... So if he makes the team... All right, let's see all the safeties. So if he makes the team, for safety specifically, I can see Jaden Grant getting cut. And depending on how many corners and safeties they want, if they want to keep Chris Smith too, if it causes a corner to get cut, maybe say like a corner that we already know. I mean, Brandon Faison, in my opinion, could be a corner that I could see get cut depending on how the other corners do as well. I mean, I'm still surprised he's on the roster considering how much we haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him at all.
Yeah. But yeah, those are two names I can go with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I like Taylor a lot. I've said he can take Smith right off that roster for sure. If Smith doesn't come out here and ball out. I think Paulo at least showed him like promise. So I think he's a little higher on the deal. I think if you're looking at players to have rotation, playing time, you know, Smith will be the most definite viable option, or Paulo. I mean, if either one of them don't show up, you know what I mean? So there was this deal. When I was looking across players, I came across this deal with Chris Sims about Richardson, and we're gonna watch his interview real quick.
Five corner who is also in the raw and explosive category. And this is another one that not necessarily in the consensus.
I know I'm not in the
Actually,
consensus here.
Even more so, you're
I'm
not
way
in the
out of
consensus.
the consensus here.
This is a love for Chris Sims that we have not seen reflected elsewhere. We're going to learn something here. Your number 5 corner is
DeCamarion. Excuse me, DeCamarion Richardson.
So you're out of whack on consensus, and we said his first name with a question mark at the end. This is not good.
And the pronunciation was put there by Pete, and I practiced before we start the show, and I still messed it up. My bad, DeCamarion.
Your number 5 corner is
DeCamarion Richardson,
Yes.
number 3 from Mississippi State. Is Mississippi State, is it just a guarantee that they're going to have a freak or two in every draft?
And they have to.
I mean, it just kind of seems like it, no matter what. I mean, it's just like, oh, it's the draft. Is like, does Mississippi State had a freak corner? Do they have a freak offensive lineman? Do they have some freak defensive tackle that's just going to maul the NFL? What will it be? That's Mississippi State. I mean, every year. I mean, we're talking all tall length here. We're talking Sauce Gardner-ish type of looking body, right? Where it's skinny and, you know, borderline frail to a degree. Right. But he ain't frail with how he plays. Right. For a frail, nobody told him he's skinny because he does bring it. I mean, maybe out of some of the other corners, maybe brings it as good as anybody that way.
6'2", 188.
Right.
So he is like 10 pounds heavier than some of the other corners we've already had here. His numbers, the combine, 4.34 40-yard dash, a 1.48 10-yard split. And so we'll already do the what we got here for him. It's also a nonagon. They're all nonagons here. So, yeah, 95th percentile in the 40-yard dash, 92nd percentile in the 10-yard split. And so those things just jump right out at you, first of all.
Jump right out, right? And I think then you couple that where, hey, like, you couple that with the straight speed, the size and the length, and the ability to jam at the line of scrimmage and make people very uncomfortable there. Right. That's to me where he's got a little bit of like a Richard Sherman, Brandon Browner-ish type of aspect to him. Right. He's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Right. If you're looking for a guy that's just going to be like man to man all over the field on intricate routes, a little again, some of the change of direction, like Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi last year. You know, there's some things there that you like better, like you wish it was a little bit better. But I actually think some of that stuff's better than Emmanuel Forbes. Right. I really do. And then I think when you couple that with the physicality, and then again, right, the physicality, the length, the speed, the top end speed, and like 0 to 60 in one step. Again, like I said, the hips, the change of direction, I wish it was a little bit better. But when you talk about jam and turn and run, or I'm in a back pedal, and the guy in front of me now has put the brakes on, and I have to put my foot in the ground and accelerate. It's as good as anybody in the draft is that department. I mean, he can really stick his foot in the ground, and he can really go gadget legs and get up to top speed in a hurry. That's where I like it, right? He's going to be a little bit more of, hey, we're looking for an outside corner that can play bigger receivers. Seattle 3 teams might really like him. Right? Because I do, like I just said to Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner, you know, jam them with the line of scrimmage, get back, don't let them run by you, right? If they're underneath you, put your foot on the ground, accelerate on the ball, right? That's to me where he flourishes. And then he's not afraid, like I said, to mix it up and do that, right? But he's best when he's playing bump and run. And it's odd because he can flip his hips and turn and run straight away. But if it's more of a intricate double move route or anything like that, that's where, again, he's not perfect that way. He needs some work and definitely can work in that department.
That's what I know. I go, there are times he can definitely look clunky and out of control.
Exactly right.
Right. And
exactly
so you see
right.
those plays and you're like, all right, I see why he's way down on the list. But you think, and this is one of those players where there probably is a scheme fit for him.
I think so. I think, well, he's a guy where you go, he's total outside corner. We're never bringing him inside, right? It's almost like, like I said, Seattle 3, like a Sauce Gardner or something like that, or a team that goes, we're looking for a bigger, like, he can cover the X receiver kind of guy, right? The single receiver over here. And we can basically say, hey, play inside leverage. Don't run anybody, run a slant, jam the shit out of them and see if they can run around you and your length and your speed on the outside and just make life horrible on that way. Right. That to me is where he'll be looked at, right? It's going to be that type of thing. You don't want him covering your Z receiver, right? You don't want him versus Malik Neighbors, and now Malik Neighbors is going in motion, and he might run the shallow cross. He might come out. He might run no way. He'll get crossed up that way, right? And again, like, guys like Sauce Gardner aren't that good at that stuff either, right? I mean, if he's that great at it, they'd be like, hey, do that all the time. But they keep him on the outside mostly, always, all game long, because that's not his cup of tea. So that's what he's not going to be about. But I will say this too, and even he's really good in zones because of his length and his short area burst that he has, right? So, oh, wait, he's long, he's midpointing the guy. Hey, it's scary to throw around him. And then you throw balls that are like somewhat close. His ability to, get there in 2 or 3 steps in the zone coverages, it makes it really dicey and interesting. I think he's one that, again, I know. It just, as we go here, I'll be shocked if we don't hear this one kind of climb up the ranks. I'm not saying maybe I have him too high, but I think at least you're going to start to hear people go, wait, this guy's, one of my top 50 players now, or I'm hearing he could go in the second round or whatever. That's what I kind of envision happening with D. Camryon.
We got to get his name first, and then his name will start going off.
Yes.
Draft boards. He led all SEC corners and tackles each of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
79 in 2023. He had 85 back 2 years ago, but he had 0 interceptions in college, which is not always indicative of a guy who can't do that, but it is something that does stand out here. NFL.com says he is leggy with below average lateral transitions, which is what you said, and change of direction in space, does have big makeup gear in straight line.
That's right. Yep. That's to me where it's going to be. Right. And he can play off too because of the things we talked about. Right. It's like Quinyon Mitchell. His ability to kind of see, he's got some instincts, but his ability to go, oh, wait, they're running the slant route. Let me go drive on it. I mean, because he can accelerate at such a level, he's very competitive on those type of plays, right? That's where you really like it. He can play off, he can play bump. And, the name I always use when I talk about these bigger guys and all of that, right, is he's the perfect guy. You go, hey, T. Higgins is over there. Go guard D. You're long enough. You can run with him, right? Stay with him. Make life hard that way. That's where he's going to have value to certain teams that are looking for the bigger type of corner, right? That maybe all right, we got everything else a corner. We need that guy that we can feel like can match up with some of the longer, straight line, faster guys in football. That's where he's going to come in really handy.
Pete wants to know the difference between him and Emmanuel Forbes, who also went to Mississippi State, was the 16th overall pick last year in the draft.
No, I think he's a little bit better with the change of direction stuff. I definitely think he's stronger and has a better ability to play bump man to man.
You like him more than Forbes, a first rounder.
I do. Yeah. I was not a fan of Forbes.
You were not.
And we'll see where that goes. But that to me last year was so straight liney. And I went, I don't trust him on any route other than a go route. And this kid, I have more trust for that, let alone, like I said, I think the physicalness, I really liked him. He's got a little chippiness, a little attitude to him. You could see the game's important to him. He really competes, right? That's what I really liked about him, too. I think he's going to fit nicely in the NFL. Yo, homies, what's up? I know it's the offseason, but it's never the offseason on Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Me and Ahmed Fareed are going to be here for it all.
So how did you feel about the interview? Have you seen that interview before? Did you have the same feeling about Richardson? Like, how did you feel?
Now, I didn't see that video before, but it did shock me because mostly you don't see something like that, especially with players that we could draft, especially maybe say like the mid round. But what did got me in a more appreciation to it is definitely where I remember when it was draft season. It was definitely when the combine, where definitely players are getting looked at, especially the Demarcus, was that he was definitely in that definitely high athletic, borderline freak athlete tier. He has the speed. He has the jump capabilities. He had one of the best broad jump performances the past few years. Definitely has the vertical jumping capabilities. And it's very shocking, as you can see, like he said in the interview, how he doesn't really have interceptions. And the most glaring thing that scouts especially said in their reports is how his main problem and what's definitely going to make him more of a developmental player is that he needs to work more on his technique and definitely his control of explosion, where he could be a player that we can see later in the season to where he's showing his flashes a bit, and then year 2 could definitely be where we see a lot more of it. And how that could be is how when it comes to explosiveness, the timing needs to get worked on especially. He's definitely in that would definitely make him more of like a zone player, which could work out with Graham. Man press, he can definitely do it like they were talking about with T. Higgins, but he really needs to work on the timing and his technique because that's what made him more of a later round player than say like a second or a third round player.
Do you think that he's gonna work out? Do you think he'll come to, or do you think he's gonna be like? How do you feel his overall be within the system?
I do have faith in our DB coaches, especially making him work on his technique, especially if he has coverage players like Hobbs and especially explosive athletic players like Jack Jones helping him out. And if he could say he wants more help from, let's say, like the safety rooms like Trayvon and Marcus, I do have faith that he can probably work on his technique a bit. I could see where he could be a little bit like Bennett, where Bennett had very similar things. Only difference is that Bennett is smaller. And Bennett was more of a ball hawk type of guy. He had his technique a little more down, but when he got into the big leagues in like more of a starter role, it definitely got him a little bit. I can see where he can be like Bennett in his first year a little bit, struggling a bit, and then needs to get through that adversity to like know what it's like so that way he can develop a little faster. It's definitely how I see it a bit.
Yeah, because I think there's so many options here right now at the moment, dude. I mean, you want a guy like him to beat out. You want him to beat out a guy like Facem and so on, like Sam Webb. Like, in all honesty, you want people like Devonshire, Richardson, all of them. You want all of them to be on the roster, and that means it's going to push people down the roster, which is going to end up getting them off the team. I've said, you take 2-3 people. They took 2 or 3, and that's in UDFA too. So you know what I mean. So they loaded up on corners out there, and then like for Bennett, we can watch his highlight reel here in a second. Bennett, I mean, I think he's going to show up this year. I've said the guy got a lot of talent, man. It's just sometimes some players show up early and then dissipate because they just ain't ready for the NFL. And other people, it just takes time. And I think it was just for him. It just need to take time. That's how I feel. I mean, look, like Richardson, it's just like they said, he gives us the option against big people when you're playing against Quentin Yon Johnson and people like that, man. Like when you have to post up on big bodied people, man, you're going to have a corner that can most definitely do that. So I think like they were saying, having the traits of Sauce Gardner, Richard Sherman, can play within a certain area type player and play at a very high level, I think it's a pretty good trait to have, especially for us. Like we don't usually have that type of versatility. We want Bennett to be able to come out here and play a position, and which we can watch his highlight real quick. Is there anything you want to add on that, or?
No, I'm good.
All right, and then Alex said that I can use his video, so just so YouTube knows, man, I can use the video, so don't worry about it, because you guys are nosy. Oh shit. This is Raider Alex, man. If you guys don't know who he is, go look him up. He is always putting out great content. He's always putting out great videos, cuts, all kinds of stuff. So if you guys want, like I say, go feel free to give him a sub and give him a follow, man. Great person on Instagram and on YouTube.
But eventually got benched, and we saw his snap counts dramatically drop towards the end of the season. And today I just want to jump into some of the film and show some of his ups and downs that he had in his rookie season, and whether or not I think he has a chance to bounce.
I'm not going to play his audio. I don't think we should do that. You can watch it for what it is. See him get on the inside there and got beat a little bit, just right off the get-go. But still got the tackle, still made back up the play.
Yeah, I forever just blame the refs in that Broncos game, because immediately they were just flagging him crazy.
I mean, Bennett, he's a solid tackler, man. I mean, the guy, when he gets on his stuff, he's on it. Like, he doesn't give up much yards. He's always hitting dudes. I mean, he's a pretty tough guy, man. Like, do you think he's going to show up this year? Like, how do you feel about Bennett?
I do have high hopes for him, especially with how the locker and the coaches feel about him. And I really hope it does translate into the regular season to where he could be that solidified opposite side to Jack Jones. And we don't have to worry about who's going to be the third corner on the field with Jones and Hobbs, because I don't want them to do where it's going to be like they're going to just switch it around to figure out during the season. Like, I want it to be to where like Bennett can get his head together, get the head in the game, and just ball out. Don't overthink too much. Don't over or just underthink. Just play it safe and play it aggressive when you can, and just get the ball.
So,
because it's definitely killed him a lot in times where he just overthinks.
So with all the hype of Devonshire, coming into camp, playing good, looking better out of most of all of the people out there, people implying that he was a 7th round draft pick, probably still the draft, just comment after comment when it comes to that guy. Who do you think is going to have a better chance at actually making the team, being more like who's going to make a bigger difference on the team, Devonshire or Bennett?
I feel like I think I would still pick Bennett. Devonshire, nothing against him, especially where he was picked in the 7th round, and draft value should have nothing to do with it. But for being like a 7th round pick, it's definitely going to make Devonshire have to work exponentially a lot harder to get that impact noticed really quickly.
Very true. When you look at Bennett's play, like he's a little sticky dude. Like the plays that he's good on, he's really good. Like even like on a play like that, he got crossed over by his own player, Splain here, and he still gets off and still keeps coverage on him pretty dang good. Like he has a really good blanketing when he knows what, has an idea of what the player is going to be doing. Play like this, you can get beat. If you got a good quarterback, he would have let him and beat him. Yep, see, that's a play he would have got burnt on. Again, gets underneath him again. Big play there.
Man, not gonna lie, Ozzy, that'd piss me off if they keep face-on over Sam Webb. That would personally piss me off.
I think Bennett will get cut or make the team. I think Bennett's going to make the team for sure. Sam want to keep facing as a bet over Webb. I mean, at this point, Webb would be considered a veteran too. He's been here damn 3 years now, 4 years. Just like I say, when you look at Bennett, I mean, look, he's always right on his players. He's always right there. He's just got to get more. He's got to be more aware of things. He's got to be more on top of things. Like, see right there, you just give up and let that dude just go for a touchdown. Like, hell no, you better not. What's up, Raider Ed? Appreciate you showing up. I mean, he's tough, man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He's just tough, dude. You wouldn't think he'd be as strong. I mean, see, if he was just on that a little bit sooner, that would have been Jack Jones, man. Pick 6 to the house. He's a tough player, man. See, rep after rep, he can play good, but he could also get burnt. You know what I mean? Like, he can get burnt on. Let's move off this. We watched this video long enough. I'm going to go over here. They were talking about Woo, so let's give you the Woo highlight real quick. All these highlights so you can watch it.
One thing about it, 2 things for sure. I left this place better than I found it. I gave it everything I had, Living legend.
Energy, got a fire in my soul to keep burning, a pain that keep hurting, a curse is emerging. I get pissed, I get after the shit, hit the gas, feel the grip, adrenaline.
time to go do a shot. Now watch this.
Complacent, cause I'm so close I can taste it. Wanted away from everything I've been chasing. I'm honest and I promise that I got this. I'm launching, all I've wanted has been exhausting. I'll teach you how to harness, control the conscious. You got this, yeah, you got this, you gotta want it. Shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, and you must be there. God, I'm like, hey,
He's a tough player too, man. This guy's tough as shit.
to the top, and you must be rare. You got one shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, and you must be rare. God, I'm like, I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, and you must be rare. Yeah, watch out, I'm fighting hard for the crown. Yeah, no doubt I'll be the best pound for pound. I'm obsessed with winning, this is my house. So watch out, I'm coming to the top. Yeah, I'm addicted to winning. If that's a sin, I'll be sinning. I'm disciplined when I'm in it, and this is just a
Your favorite teams growing up watching, man. Do you have a favorite team?
Hands down, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are all my favorite team. Like, we have a whole Bucks room in our house. Like, the Bucks, yes, sir. The Bucks are hands down always my favorite team. But currently, from this standpoint, as far as favorite team as would like to play for, anybody that sees me and willing to give me an opportunity is who's going to get it off me. But on a personal note, on a selfish note, the Las Vegas Raiders, I love their scheme, and I see the potential in the scheme. You know, like I understand what it can be, how it's supposed to be ran.
Got 'em like, hey, I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, and it must be rare. You got one shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or will you play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared.
What?
Cheese in the eye.
He got what in his eye? Oh, either way, freaking kids these days, I swear, it just gets annoying. What do you think about Wu? What's your opinion on Wu?
On the cornerback specifically, I haven't heard much on him in all honesty. I've only mostly heard recently about him, so I can't give any bad opinions yet.
Watch him on tape. What do you think of him?
On the tape, on the hype video, some what I've seen so far, he definitely plays solid. Definitely plays someone that does keep good contact, especially keeps good distance between him and the receiver. Can't see much on technique yet. Ball hawk, I won't see it that much. Definitely more plays from what I've seen on tape. He relies more on shutting down the play.
Brother wants to get out.
Can you see him making the team?
First year, no.
Think he makes practice squad?
Best I could see is practice squad.
Dad has a podcast, so we can't talk right now.
You think he'll make practice squad? You said.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Let's watch. We're gonna watch some Devonshire part right here. Just watching corners and so on. This is our 7th round pick here.
Castellanos has to make a play, goes downfield.
No.
He's another guy. He's another guy that's a scrappy dude on the outside, man. Like, you look at Devonshire, he's a little scrappy motherfucker. I mean, this guy, he can most definitely be a big surprise on the team, man. I've watched tape on this dude multiple. I mean, he's a guy that can be scrappy on the outside for sure. Like, he's the guy that this guy can shock a lot of people, man. If he shows up, and probably not year 1, year 2, but if he's to get the weight, dude, just like get where he needs to be in the NFL. I always say coming from a college body to an NFL body, that guy right there can be scary in a year 2 system, man. And I'm not going to say he won't have success in year 1, but I mean, boy, if he just develops right, this guy's going to be dangerous, man. He's one of those players that he's always around the ball, man. He's always around the ball.
He is definitely more of a ball hawk.
He is.
Defensive back. One thing, that is the one thing when you were talking about college body versus NFL body, one thing that I would recommend that he makes sure he does in the offseason to get more looked at, to get a chance at a roster spot, is definitely build up more muscle.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man, especially when you're going against his –
yeah.
Especially
if
like
you can
the
get his
people you'll be going against in the NFL, man, you're going to have to be a little bigger and stronger, you know?
Yeah, if he can definitely get his muscle tone more together, he can definitely get better looked at, especially in the preseason specifically. Because if he wants to remain more on that ball hawk, that he seems to be playing reliably more as a deep field corner. He would definitely need to build more muscle and then at that same token build more agility. So that way he can stay on the coverage side more and definitely stay more if he wants to keep that distance to then try to be, I guess really good example to use is Jack Jones. Try to be that sneaky link where he can just surprise you. Like that's definitely where he could be at. If not, then what I can see him try to do is try to get that returner, specifically maybe like a punt returner as his first year would be a good try on the first year.
Heck yeah, and I can see him most definitely being a punt returner for sure. If you were to sit here and think about all the people that we were watched tonight, who do you think out of the videos that we were watching in these highlights like stood out the most to you to where you're like, man, I can't wait to see this dude play this year? Like, what player stood out to you the most?
Definitely, I think the easiest, it is technically the easiest option, but Trey Taylor, to be honest, it just makes me want to see how the safety room is going to turn out. Mostly because since mostly we haven't felt this way about like a later picked guy since like Palomalu a little bit, but I want to definitely see if he can be a threat to Palomalu, mostly because how Palomalu had to fight his way as a UDFA to get to where he's seen as like a starting rotation piece or as like a starting sneaky weapon for Graham. On corner specifically for Devonshire is definitely someone that I want to see be that underdog that fights his way to beat out even the other corner in his own draft class, to where I think he has the capabilities with his coverage and athleticism. If he can just get his strength down, his power down, then it can definitely be help him be seen a lot more, especially in preseason.
Can you see the out of the corners? Can you see out of the corners and everybody that, you know, like, do you see them out of the videos and the people that we drafted and the players that we looked at tonight? Can you see a lot of these players actually pushing players that's been on the team and practice squad and like the fifth and so on? Can you see them getting pushed off the roster by some of the people we've drafted?
For the fear of practice squad, I can definitely see those guys definitely knowing that their days most definitely might be numbered. Roster guys for the draft class this year specifically, I think they're just gonna have to keep an eye on Trey Taylor. Maybe one of the corners in the draft class counting UDFAs. Practice squad guys definitely recommend that they keep an eye on the rookies this year.
Yeah, very true, very true. I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, I've always said, rookie or not, they would have to be a substantial player. That's why people like Brandon Faison and Bennett have a little bit higher standing on the roster just because they've already done it in the NFL. They know if they're healthy that they're going to be able to play at an NFL level. The problem is, it's like you can look at college highlights and reels and so on. It doesn't mean anything in the NFL. NFL versus college is a whole different. It's a whole different ball game. So long story short, I want to switch over to an offensive player. That's the drafted player that we got, which was Dylan. Lou, man, it's a player I like a lot. I mean, I think this guy right here, he can most definitely change a lot of our team. So I just want to watch him for a few minutes and highlight here, just so people can see him in the run and the pass and so on.
Yeah, because you're certain types of stuff.
This guy's going to be danger, bro. This guy's going to be so dangerous. He's going to be like our Austin Eckler, dude. Like, that's what he's going to be. He's going to be our Eckler, but better.
All right, 15 minutes. It'll be 9:30.
Look at him. He gets behind the line and still finds a way to get out and take off. Guys like them are dangerous, man. They're just dangerous. He just never quits moving.
Hey. You want?
He's just a dangerous player.
Hey, you want to see? Sit down.
Yeah, when it came to this running back specifically, it was a bit of a shock to me because I didn't expect us to pick up a player like him, and then I needed to look more into him as to like what did Tom see in him? What did the running back coach see in him? What are we looking for? One thing that caught my eye definitely, stat specifically, were definitely his receiving ability. And even though he has shown at his college level, at his college play capability, he's definitely a runner. One thing that definitely caught my attention though is that during his college career, developing over time was that he was prioritizing getting better and better at his receiving abilities. And even to where it came to where he willingly was letting himself get less carries on the ball, still performing high on the ground with less carries, but he wanted to show definitely in his final year in college that his receiving abilities were definitely something to look at, especially as a returner as well. Since he was normally a kickoff returner, but he wanted to show more. He wanted to be a punt returner as well, and he managed to score touchdowns as a returner multiple times. So he's definitely something that can definitely benefit the running back room, especially when it comes to punt and kick returns. Something to look at, especially with his elusiveness.
Yeah, you see his awareness there, dude. How he even running on the side right there, he still undercut that fool in the backfield and still got back ahead of him and back upfield. I mean, players like that are dangerous, dude. I mean, they're dangerous when he's got such great vision, dude. Like he has phenomenal vision, man. Like I don't know how the heck we got this guy. You look at this dude, and I mean, he sees holes. He just has phenomenal vision. His cuts, dude. He can just be moving so quick, dude, and then just boop, fucking right through him, boop, right through him. I mean, I don't know how this guy sees this stuff, man. I don't know how he's got it.
I can see him being the new Jalen Richard. Not on the field that much, but when he's on the field, he knows what holes to hit.
He does, dude. I mean, when he's sitting back there and you watch him play, it's like he has this little weird running style, like where he puts his head down, like runs, like he has that little run right there. But man, if he can just see holes at like no pace, dude. Like he can just be running full speed, be on one side, and then just cut right behind a guy and be open hole right there. And then it was like that one sideline play where you see him run to the sideline. He's going to the sideline. He's got two players. He cuts right, and then he cuts back left, and then boom, upfield he goes, and he's back in the center of the field. He ran to the outside and cut two dudes, and then cut again back inside, and he's back in the center of the field running up. I mean, this guy, like you see plays like that right there. It's just to be able to stop and get out, dude. Like, see you later. Most people would have stopped once and ran right into the pile next. He's got phenomenal vision. So like I said, this guy can be very dangerous for our roster because there has been multiple reports, dude, that this guy in a year can take over Zamir 100% if this guy gets a lot of snaps this year and he develops. Like, this guy is very dangerous in the pass and in the run. Like, he's not just one way. He can run and pass, man. Like, he's really good. You see his little cuts like that give him an extra 10 yards, man. Said he kind of gets that Austin Eckler kind of vibe to him, man, where the passing game, you know, little shorter dude run. I mean, he's got this little deal to him, man. But I think this guy right here, I think he's going to be big time for us this year. A guy like him keeps the defense honest, dude. You bring him down on the line, they're like, shit, this guy gonna run or pass. But you know what I mean? Like, a guy like him will keep a team honest all the time. I mean, this dude, man, he's nice. I ain't gonna lie, I like him a lot. But I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel about him with our team? How do you see him in the future? Like, what do you think about him?
I mean, I can definitely see him if he does develop in the first year. If he does develop well as like a good steal pick as a first year player, I can definitely see him try to take snaps away from Alexander Mattinson. I don't see it with Amir because Amir, I feel like he's just more solidified, more solid down. Alexander, he's kind of the newcomer, more on the injured side. So, not saying that if any player gets injured, but if I have to pick a running back right now, it would be Alexander and Pattinson that he would have to worry about the rookie.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. You think that he'll beat him?
I would have to see preseason. I feel if Dylan truly got that dog in him compared to Alexander.
You think he can take Alexander's job? Do you think he's good enough to take that fool's job and be the second best running back on the squad in his first year?
All honesty, first year I don't see it.
There's a possibility he could, man, but I agree with you. I don't know. I think I've always said familiarity. Just Alexander's a big boy. There's a lot of things that are just kind of favoring him, but don't get me wrong. Tyreek Coe, he was never going to get big. He was just going to get stronger and so on, but he still come out here and still dust on people. So I can't really sleep on the guys. I think it's just how they develop in the system and kind of where the coach puts them. You know, if he's putting them in the outside and catching a ball, it's up to him to go take off. If he's trying to be, you know, behind the line and run on people, there's a very good possibility that he's not going to have much production, especially with the Zamir White being out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's shift gears real quick so we can get on to a different topic. We're going to just do a few more and we're going to hop off here. But long story short, man, we got the Devontae Adams. Hell yeah, I would want Tom Brady as the Raiders coach. We're just going to watch the video. I don't need to read this whole damn thing. I mean, he's going to basically read the article in his video. So you basically just tell me how you feel and what you guys think, you know, especially everybody in the chat too.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
Tom Brady. Would you Brady, how's Brady? Brady's probably,
yes.
Oh, God damn! You didn't let me finish the question, Tay.
I know exactly. Hey, when you said Tom Brady, I knew what you said. Let me see what he was saying. Then you got to talk about Odie is I don't care.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice.
Evan, did it put it all the way up there? We'll tell you.
As we've had at any point in time, I look at yourself, Justin Jefferson, Reed, Diggs, AJ, CD, Chase, St. Brown, Cup, Devon.
Yes.
Okay.
you know, we talked about the consistency. He hasn't been able to show that consistently. But when you look at the play style and just I mean, that boy be cool as the other side of the pillow out there too. And that's one thing that people don't be giving him enough credit for. I mean, the release points, a lot of these throws he's making.
He reminds you of
I'm saying more of the picture of the Green Bay situation at that time. And I felt like that wasn't necessarily what was best for me at that moment, especially with Aaron's, you know, his future in Green Bay kind of being up in the air the way it was and him ultimately leaving. I didn't want to be there. And, you know, in hindsight, obviously Jordan Love balling out and, you know, it would have been great to do that. But I'm the type of guy, once I make a decision, I live with it. You know, I drive yourself crazy, sit here and be worried about, did I do that? Oh, I wish I would have did this and did that. Like, you can't live life like that, man. Ain't no rewind button, so you got to make decisions and live with it. But it was definitely difficult, man. It's, you know, there's a dear friend of mine that it's tough to just not even be able to see somebody that you used to seeing for 8 years every day. You know, having that go to where you can only see each other every few times in the off season, it's just not the same. So it was hard, but it was something that needed to happen just based off the situation. And, you know, still here trying to make the best of it. But anytime you go from, you know, having the best quarterback ever throwing you the ball to any type of change, it's going to be an adjustment. So wasn't easy, but we still managing.
You watch Jordan Love every day in practice. I think he played one game with you, if I'm not mistaken. I think that the Kansas City, he played that game. Aaron didn't play.
Right.
You kind of watched it. Had you known what you know now, you like, because he balled out.
He
Corey talked about it. And
did you see that?
That type of deal, right? So you was the opportunity as soon as he got it, which is, I mean, now it's his.
You're making the decision. Obviously, it's going to come down.
Harder than that, man. I mean, I grew up a Raiders fan, being
Raiders. Obviously, Derek Carr, you played with him in college, so there's a relationship, although you hadn't played in a number of years.
Yeah.
How instrumental was he for you coming to the Raiders and then to see all of a sudden after a year, gone?
Well, I mean, he played a huge part in that, man. I mean, I grew up a Raiders fan, being from the Bay, and my whole family being Raiders fans. So in a sense, it was kind of written, but at the same time, I don't know if I would have made the move had it not been him, you know, under center when I got there. And then I talked about, obviously, when they got rid of him, I was not happy about that at all. But just based off the business and knowing how, you know, at that point I was going into year 10, you know, once they got rid of him. So I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, 10,000 right now.
Yeah. You two want to catch a show with that one.
Yeah, man. Now you see if it's ever a situation like that's what I'm working with. Super. I broke this. Then you know, like the Aaron Gordons and people like that I played hoop with in that area, where, you know, he's 6'7".
Wix gives you the power of AI to build the website you need.
I mean, I know some guys out there getting it in practice, and they post their videos and they do all that. I don't do the social media trying to prove to the world that I'm out here grinding.
Right.
You're going to see on Sunday, and then the one after that, and then the one after that, and for continuous years. I'm going to show you the proof is. I caught it because I saw it before. So them reps and just that repetition of, this ain't the first time where you running down the field and I'm running the post, and it done been times where it's like a quick flash of practice where I really remember catching that ball, and it's like almost like a sense of deja vu because I take those reps so serious that it makes it that much easier, you know, come game time.
Something you probably never seen Jerry die for a ball.
Dudes is the big dudes in the NFL. So you ain't gonna put Colton Miller. He's 6'8", but who he gonna go guard on the perimeter?
Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's easy, but I could have did it.
But I think football players are the most athletic. They can jump the highs. They can run.
I can't really give a full answer of how much longer I'm gonna do it, but you know, if it keeps looking like how it's supposed to, or if we can get it back looking how it's supposed to, rather, I think I got a little bit more left in me, so we should be able to keep pushing.
How about this? I'm gonna get you out of here. I want to ask you 2 questions. Give me your Mount Rushmore best.
If I do that 2 more times, now we in the top 10 all time,
right?
And win a Super Bowl for real. I mean, at this point, we beat them the last time we played them. Right. So we went out there day after my birthday, played them on Christmas, and that was a great. I don't need to be worried about something like that. Right. So, honestly, I never really pictured myself getting married before the age of 30. And here I am, engaged and married, by 26. So I'm like, this is something solid, especially me being me. It's not easy finding somebody that just want to be around because right. you are who you are, right. like as a true person. They want to be around you because you are who you are in the public eye. And they want that the money, or they want the attention and the notoriety just to be around it. And I'm not that type of dude. I don't have nobody in my camp. I rarely even kick it with a lot of NFL dudes. I'm always with the people I grew up with. So right. that's how I get down, and people I went to college with and stuff like that. So it's just I just stay true to myself, man. I'm gonna find somebody that match with me well, and just so happened to happen real early, and I thank God for that. Really.
I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. What do you guys have to do to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs?
We're gonna have to win a Super Bowl for real. I mean, at this point, we beat them the last time we played them. Right. So we went out there day after my birthday, played them on Christmas, and that was a great treat. Even though I didn't go out there and have a great game, I was ecstatic. Right. The last time I played in that stadium, it was bad. We lost the game. I was able to step on their neck a little bit, but we lost the game, left the game, and got in trouble. I had a situation happen. Right. So being in there on Christmas with the squad, you're a long way from home. It's cold, and to go in there and beat them in their own stadium, that was a good feeling. But them boys still won the Super Bowl, so they like, okay, you won the battle, but we won the war. Right. So we're gonna have to do a little bit more, and I think we got the potential as a team. We just gotta put it all together.
What's it like seeing Patrick Mahomes play up close?
Do
people really understand how great he is?
I think they do, because I think it's enough people on TV making sure they know. and he do his job to make sure that they see it consistently, time after time. And he's a game changer. He didn't have so many different times. The game that sticks out to me is not last year, even the year before. It was like 3 years ago. They was playing the Texans in the playoffs, and they was getting their head beat in.
They was down 24-0.
And I'm watching, so I'm at the crib. We got a game. So they played the early game. We got a game in Green Bay, the little 4-15, 3-15, whatever. So I'm watching this. I'm like, these boys done got knocked out. I'm like, all right, let me jump in the car, hop in the Urus, of course. So I whip over to the stadium. I go sit my backpack in the locker, dap up Aaron, whatever, walk by. And they got, you walk in the locker room, they got the game zone just to set the mood or whatever. I'm like, them boys get smacked. They like, when the last time you seen the game? I said, bro, 20 minutes ago. What you mean? I look at the TV, these boys is winning. I said, what happened, bro? They said, Pat, the magician, he did it again. I said, all right, well, at this point, can nobody ever feel good about a lead on that team? You gotta play a full game for them boys. And we did this last one, but we have to do it quite a few more times to dethrone them.
Devontae Adams, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate
you, brother.
Thank you.
My gosh.
Watch Receivers on Netflix.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay.
So can you see the Raiders dethroning the Chiefs? Like, can you see where people think it's an unrealistic thing that could never happen? Can you see the Raiders sweeping the Chiefs? Can you see them basically make them step down, like to where they're equals?
I mean, with the aura that the team has been presenting since Christmas Day, it'd be a disappointment if we do not at least beat him again this upcoming season, at least once. It would be like, when it comes to like dethroning or making us equals,
Do you think if Aiden shows up and is playing 250-yard game, passing 2 touchdowns like Carr, you think that they beat the Chiefs, can sweep the Chiefs?
I think I can most definitely see it, because even though we made basically the Chiefs' offense look like a complete meltdown on Christmas Day, Aiden was just useless the entire game. If Aiden was able to make 5 completed passes 10, if I'm being generous, that game would look a whole lot different in our favor.
Facts. And another passing touchdown.
Exactly. So if Aiden has improved massively when it comes against the Chiefs specifically,
The van, put the iPad
and if
away.
he can get more accuracy down, more connection with the receivers, definitely more downfield play and more touchdowns. And if the defense can keep their foot on the gas exactly how they did against Mahomes specifically on Christmas Day, it would definitely put the Chiefs officially on notice, not treated as where the Chiefs say it was a bad day, bad game, not where they were saying Raiders shocked us, just to where they'd be like, okay, the Raiders didn't shock us, they're scaring us. Like, that's what I want to hear. It's like, oh, Raiders shocked us this game. No, it's Raiders are scaring us now because we're having all these offseason problems. We're having all these locker room problems. We're having these player coach problems. We don't know if we are a dynasty or not. We're trying to say that we are a dynasty. But the more and more these problems keep happening, and the more and more that now we're questioning the Raiders' aura with this new culture reset, with this new coach, how this whole positivity is coming with this fan base. And it's not toxic positivity or like overconfidence. This is like a new beacon of hope. It's probably the final beacon of hope because after Antonio Pierce, I don't know where the hell you can go with this. Then it should definitely be put not just on notice, but for long-term notice to where Chiefs are going to be forced to have to see as Eagles. And not just that, but like Adam said, we can't just beat the Chiefs and then just say that we're equal to them. We have to win playoff games and specifically a Super Bowl within the next 5 years or so.
Which game do you think is more important if you're splitting with them?
Definitely the one that if I'm talking about like if I split with the Chiefs this upcoming season, like they beat us and we beat them. We already beat them in their house on Christmas Day. I want a game where we beat them in Vegas. That's what I want. Because there's only one instance where I really thought it was going to happen. And that's when it was that 2020 season where it looked like we were going to sweep the Chiefs that year. Where we put 40 on them in their house, beginning of the season, early in the season. Ruggs is killing their defense. Carr's just swinging the ball everywhere. And then Vegas happened. Offense just was exploding the entire time, but their defense just choked the entire game and just gave the win to the Chiefs. And even though offense could have made it down the field, I feel like if defense just did their job once and just shut down the Chiefs in one play, we could have kneeled down. We could have just run the ball with Jacobs and then just kneel down and we would have swept the Chiefs that year. So I want to win because we already beat the Chiefs Christmas Day in their home. I feel satisfied enough with that. I need us to win at home against the Chiefs because especially since they won a Super Bowl in Vegas. Like now I really want us to beat the Chiefs at Vegas. Yeah, that's facts, Ozzy, because
that is facts. Because you'd want to get the win back in our house, especially after the Super Bowl and everything like that. So I would agree on that one. You'd want to go and most definitely try to get it back here. Let's switch to the next conversation. So we got a few more, and then so we can get going. So basically, it's saying 3 dark horse Raiders who could contribute in 2024. Says Las Vegas Raiders are riding high after 23 ending looking like the postseason under Pierce in his final go around with an excellent defense. Headlines by Max. Can you turn that off, please? Max and the offense ready to improve with Devontae and Brock Brown. The Raiders are looking to prove the NFL world wrong and play postseason football for the first time since 21 and 22 season. Beyond their top starters, the Raiders have several players ready to follow Pierce into battle, leave it all on the field. That includes Nate Hobbs, Robert Spillane, Jacoby Myers, Zamir White. However, the Raiders have some depth players who could have a chance at surprising even Raider fans by becoming main contributors. Some intriguing players on the roster can come out of nowhere to make an impact on the team. Let's take a look at 3 unexpected players who could become contributors in 2024. Defensive tackle Byron Young says a 3rd-round selection in the 23 NFL draft. Young did not see the field much in his rookie season. That could change in year 2. While it could be an uphill battle for Young to climb the depth chart, he is a talented young man who figures to be part of the Raiders' long-term plans. If he can surprise, hey, let me see this, dude. Turn that shit off, dude. Goodness gracious. Just sit right here and just run that thing. Said long-term plans. If he can surprise in the preseason, he could see himself earning more snaps and making more plays on the interior. Tight end Cole Fotheringham. While the Raiders are set with their top 2 tight ends, if they use the 3rd, Fotheringham has a chance to be that. The Raiders also signed Harrison Bryant as a depth tight end, but Fotheringham athleticism and blocking ability could give him the edge. He has just 1 catch for 6 yards in his NFL career, but if the Raiders want to use 3 tight ends, this could be Fotheringham's year to break through. Wide receiver Christian Wilkins, another player who has been around for a few years, but hasn't had the chance to showcase his talent. Wilkerson could be a receiver who surprises in his NFL career. Wilkinson had just 4 catches for 42 yards, but 2 touchdowns on his solid size and speed, which the Raiders could use more of. While the Raiders have a jam-packed top of their receiver depth chart, Wilkins could have difficulty breaking through and passing a few players. However, if he can make the most of his opportunity on the field, he should give himself a chance to earn more targets. So if you're sitting here just thinking and hearing out of this, like who's the guy you're going to favor? Is it going to be Bryant? Is it going to be Young, Fotheringham, or is it going to be Wilkinson? Wilkerson? Who do you think is going to have a better chance at making the 53-man roster and contributing to the team?
Why don't you want to help Big Jaden?
Out of those 3, I'm picking Christian Wilkerson. Because for me personally, I'll start with the Byron Young. So with the defensive tackle room specifically, odds are very not in Young's favor, even if good news comes his way, because Max Crosby has always been praising Matthew Butler. Nesta Jade has been balling out. Tyree is just switching between the interior and the outerior. Adam Butler solidified. John Jenkins solidified. Christian Wilkins is now there. And with Byron Young, even though late bloomers are a thing, sometimes you need to explode very, very deeply, because with how inactive Byron Young was, it definitely isn't looking good for him if he doesn't explode very hard now, especially if he's not getting enough attention. Cole firing him, I could see him at his second. He was a beast during preseason, especially against the Niners in the preseason game. He was #1 target. With the tight end room, especially now that we got Marin Brock Byers, he's definitely now going to have competition if he wants to be the third guy. Wilkerson, I have him being my pick, considering that even though the wide receiver room does have competition, Wilkerson is just that reliability guy that I think he's just going to be on the team just because how reliable he is. With preseason, I easily predicted that he was, like everyone was saying, it was going to be Cam Sims or just the other receivers. I said, no, Wilkerson's going to be that guy that not only makes the team, he's going to make the 53-man roster, especially after preseason. And a lot of people weren't agreeing with it, and I was right because he was just reliable to any QB that was just on the field during preseason. And if he does the same thing again, I can expect the same thing again. So with Wilkerson, he's my dark horse guy.
Yeah, I mean, Wilkinson probably makes the most sense in the deal just because of the fact that Wilkinson probably makes the most sense out of it just because of the fact that when you're looking at the receivers and you're looking at people are going to be like, yeah, but look at Gallup and all this. It's like, yeah, I get that. But Gallup just came in. He doesn't have really much familiarity with anybody here either. He wasn't probably there in the offseason. Wilkins probably been there in the offseason. Wilkins played with Aiden last year too, training wise, especially practice squad, everything of those factors. So, I mean, I would probably say I would probably agree with you. I mean, if you're just looking at playing wise, I mean, if they don't trade Bryant, then Bryant's going to get the reps. Why would they keep Bryant and play Fotheringham? It would more make sense is if you don't have Bryant, then you play Fotheringham. Then Byron, don't get me wrong, the inactive for Byron, I mean, I don't look at it as a bad thing because if you were to look back at Malcolm Kuntz was inactive the same way for multiple years. I think it just depends on one, is he developing behind the scenes? Did he have any production when he was out on the field? I'd probably have to look at it in those aspects. But just because a player is inactive, it doesn't mean like, oh man, they're not going to be good or not. It just sometimes like it could be personal. It could be that he's developed to a certain point, but just can't finish. What's the reason is what I would probably say, because Malcolm Kuntz, I've said he went inactive for 2 full years because of how other people were viewing him. You know what I mean? So Byron, let's be real. If Byron was to show up, that guy would be a massive plus to the team. I mean, massive plus. Like, Byron was a really good player. I think he was the second best player outside of Jalen Carter in college at the time, like stat wise and what he's done. So to sit and say like, if he don't develop, it's kind of a big deal against us. But if he develops, man, that's a massive plus for us, I think. So I would probably favor the receiver in the DT for me. I mean, Fotheringham, the only problem with Fotheringham is like if they felt like he was that guy, why would you go and pay Bryant when Fotheringham was already on the team and you drafted Bowers, you know what I mean? If you feel like you already have your players there, why would you draft other players there? But that's how I feel. You have anything else you want to add to this conversation, or?
Nah, I'm good.
Let's see what this one is real quick. What is it? Gosh dang it. Oh, right here.
No.
I hate when I have to get rid of them in the background because, like, computer doesn't have enough data to doesn't have enough like data, like, you know, process card to be able to have all of them open in the background. All right, so 2024 Raiders bold stat prediction for the 2024 Raiders. Let me come over here real quick. My bad. Bob. Says, let's give everybody a Honda a call. I already know who this person is just by. I know who this person is just by this comment right here. Just by this comment right here. Long story short, all right, let's go over here. All right, so Las Vegas Raiders bold stat prediction for the 2024 NFL season. NFL Raiders beginning training camp in a matter of days as rookies will report on Sunday, July 21st, while veterans will arrive on Tuesday, July 23rd. The Raiders enter their first training camp under head coach Antonio Pierce with playoff aspirations as a team acquired intriguing mixtures of young and veteran talent to fill needs after just missing the playoffs in 2023. The Silver and Black have a ton of talent on the roster, capable of putting together impressive and possible record-breaking season with training camp on their horizon. Let's go through some bold stat predictions for the Raiders in 24 campaign. Raiders bold stat prediction. Brock Bowers will break the rookie tight end receiving record. The Raiders' decision to pass on an impactful offense of linemen or defensive players to select Georgia tight end and Brock Bowers at the number 13 pick has been highly I don't even know.
I think the word is
it's scrutinized. It says, though, taking a tight end in taking a tight end in the top 15 is questionable. Bauer's talent and versatility will be a vulnerable asset in Lou Gessi's offense. The 21-year-old, I don't know what, 21-year-old will be used as a traditional tight end and in the slot, and will be premier receiving threat and security blanket for the Raiders quarterback. Mike Ditka 1,076 receiving yard campaign with Chicago Bears is currently top for a rookie tight end in the NFL history. The record has stood for over 60 years, but if Bauer stays healthy and lives up to the hype, the title could be his soon. Can you see that? Do you think, like, within our system and everything that's going to be going on, do you think that he's going to break, like, can you see us throwing him the ball that much for 1,080 yards?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because
not only that, like, not just saying the receivers like Adams or Myers. I feel like people forget we have Michael Mayer, and that people forget that, which is weird how we did this. We drafted back to back the number 1 rated tight end in the draft. Back to back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And when you're looking at him getting that much yards and that much, and his first, what does Michael Mayer not get nothing? You just wrote him off now?
Like, yeah, I thought the big hype that everyone has toward Brock Bowers is the same hype that Michael Mayer had, which he still has that hype in our fan base specifically. So Brock Bowers just getting significantly more targets than Mayer, who AOC has had way more connection with Mayer compared to Bowers. Like, I 100% do not see Bowers getting 1,000 yards in his first year.
Yeah, the only way I can see it is if there's a lot of injuries. Like, there's going to have to be a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
All right. Max Crosby will break the single season tackle for loss record. Crosby has been a tackle for loss machine over the past 2 seasons, totaling 45 since 2022. Says the most by any player in that span. The 26-year-old posted 23 during 23 campaign, tied for the most in the NFL. Though J.J. Watt record-breaking 39 tackles for loss in 2012 seems unbreakable, Crosby relentless motor and willingness to come off of the field, combined with the fact that he got more help around him, could catapult him into the record books. Do you think that he can do that? Can you see him getting the tackle for loss record?
Now, this is something I can definitely see, because Max ain't breaking the sack record. He's breaking that tackle for loss record, because something that people don't realize is Max back-to-back has led the tackle for loss stat back-to-back. He is a tackle for loss machine.
Do you think that's good, or do you think it should be the sack record? Like, which one do you think has more impact, like the tackle for loss or the sack record?
Media-wise, everyone's gonna be like, he should get the sack record. Tackle for loss, though, that says a lot, because even though I would like him to get the sack record, obviously, because he is an edge rusher, tackle for loss, though, that means you are making the running back lose yardage. You are making the quarterback lose yardage. You're making the receivers lose yardage. Like, that stat isn't just, oh, I tackled you and behind the line of scrimmage or anything. That's like, oh, I'm forcing you to gain more yards in every position, especially with the running back specifically, who's going full speed up the line. And Max, being an edge rusher, not even a defensive tackle, he's going full speed as well. Like, as much as like the sack record does have its impact, tackle for loss has major impact, and in some cases the same impact as sacks as well.
That is facts. So Raiders will have I agree, man. I mean, I think it depends. If it's a fourth down and he gets a tackle for loss behind the line that keeps him from getting the first down, I mean, yes, it has a really big implement depending on where he's getting it and how he's getting it. You know what I mean? So it most definitely can. Raiders will have 2 1,000-yard receivers. The silver and black receiving duo of Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers is one of the most underrated tandems in the NFL. Despite subpar quarterback play, the pair had solid 23 campaign, as Adams posted his 5th 100 catches and 1,000-yard season, while Myers hauled in 71 catches for 808 touchdowns. A fresh offense approach and more consistency at the quarterback position could lead to Las Vegas having 2 1,000-yard receivers for the first time since 17. Adams is a lock at getting there as long as he stays healthy, and Myers and Bowers could join him too. Is that something that you can see in this system? Can you see Can you see O'Connell having 2 1,000-yard receivers this year in his second year playing in the NFL? Can you see him having 2 1,000-yard? And then, hell, let's even push it more. Could you see him pushing a 3,000-yard deal with the 2 receivers and 1 tight end? Like, do you think? I mean, as much as these guys are trying to proclaim that Bowers can have it, and then now we got 2 wide receivers. I mean, is this can we even see the 2 receivers to begin with?
With the 2 receivers, whether the second 1,000-yarder is a tight end or not, I can definitely see it, considering with Jimmy being the starter majority of the year, Myers almost got to 1,000 yards, and he had eight touchdowns in total. I think he had like 10 touchdowns. And then Adams was still able to get over 1,000 yards. I think if AOC has definitely developed significantly, or whether it's Minshew starting, which is an upgrade over Jimmy regardless, I could definitely see 2 receivers being 1,000 yards. 3 I can't see because that is very rare to have 3 receivers having 1,000 yards. That is a very big accomplishment to have for a team. 2,000-yard receivers, though.
How would you view Aiden if he had 2 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard tight end?
Then Aiden is slinging it more. He's just chucking that ball down the field.
And he accurate as shit, apparently, if that's the case.
Like,
you know what I mean?
That'll give me like freaking. That is 2016 Derek Carr vibes where he's just throwing it wherever. Heck, that's 2020 Derek Carr vibes where he's throwing it wherever, and that catch is 100% getting caught.
Yeah, that's facts, freaking. So Malcolm Kuntz will post 15 sacks. Kuntz had a breakout 23 campaign, posting 8 sacks and 52 quarterback pressures with an 81.3 PFF grade. The former 3rd-round pick is entering a contract year and will look to establish himself as one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. With the acquires of Wilkins and superstar play of Crosby, Kuntz will see a lot more one-on-one matchups and more opportunities for sacks. Though 15 sacks is a tough feat to achieve, Kuntz has the talent and situation to get there. Now, could you see him getting 15 sacks? It's 17 games, man. Like, can you see this guy? He got 8 out of 9 games. Can you see him pulling off 15 sacks, man?
I have Kuntz getting no more than 12 sacks for the upcoming season. My reason why is because I think now that he has tape on him for like half a season, I think teams are going to figure out how to strategize against him a little bit to where, because it is insane how in a little less than half a season he got basically on average a sack every game. But I think with that tape, I think they're going to figure out how to slow him down a little bit. And it's to where he's probably going to get no more than 12 for the full season, especially if he's got Wilkins and Crosby on the side, because I have Wilkins getting about 10. And Crosby, I swear, if he didn't get that injured leg, he was going to break our franchise record for the sack record. I still have him this year breaking the sack record.
No.
And I do think either or getting more sacks is definitely going to lower someone else's sack total. And that's where I have Kuntz come in for that. So no, I don't see Kuntz getting 15 sacks. If Kuntz got 15 sacks, you better give him the fully guaranteed contract.
These 2 go watch a movie.
Go now. Yeah, I mean, if he gets 15 sacks, dude, I mean, he's putting in some hardcore work, bro. Like, And I'm not even going to be against it. If he goes out there and puts up 15 sacks, like, hell yeah, I'd be like, I told you guys. I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
I'd be like, give this
I've been
dude
saying 10
15 to
plus.
20 million a year, fully guaranteed contract.
Oh hell yeah, I'd give it to him in a heartbeat, dude. I mean, I'd be cutting some players and taking risk at other positions for a dude like
I'd
him.
be like, bro, we got Coons getting 15 sacks, Crosby getting 15. We got Wilkins out here. We're
I mean,
good.
if it goes either way, if it goes Kuntz getting 15 and Max 10, or Max 15 and Kuntz 10, I can really care less. You know, as long as the sacks are showing up on paper, that's all that matters. And as long as the sacks back up pressures, which back up wins, you can go get all the sacks you want. If it doesn't back up the wins, then what's the point of the sacks? You know what I mean? Like for me, I want to make sure that they're at least meaningful when we're getting those sacks in games, that they're crucial, like turnovers, and that they're going to change the point of the game.
Most definitely. But yeah, that's probably the boldest prediction I've seen on this list is definitely the Brock Bowers one. This Kuntz probably comes in second.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be pretty fire. I mean, it would just show like, and there's something that Telesco has spoke on numerous times about signing their own players. You know, they don't want to go out and sign other players. They want to go out and sign our players. They want to develop our players and sign our players. That's what they've advocated the whole entire time. I mean, Aaron, why don't you just say, hey, Tori, you don't fucking, I hate when people make fake accounts, bro.
Is he really trying to get back in there?
These guys are bums, bro.
Every week.
Listen, Aaron and Tori just make 2 new accounts. Stephen Curry, which is Aaron, and the fucking Curry is Tori.
Just to troll? Why
Yeah, because they're fucking bums. That's how you know they have no lives. They can just be normal. Yeah, they can be normal on their normal accounts, but if they go kid come over here and get timed out like a bunch of dumbasses and they're grown men.
Potty mouth.
It's just sad. It's just sad. Let's see. Do we have a? Oh yeah, your topic. All right, let's do your topic, and I think that'll be it for tonight. All right, this is your topic. You're speaking up.
All right, yeah. So the topic is, does AP need a playoff win? Now, what I mean by that is, with everything that we've gone through, and we can start with how it went from with how the hirings have gone, a trend with Mark so far, with John Gruden, the nostalgia of the old Raider way, how the success in the late 90s, early 2000s went. Not a single playoff win. One playoff appearance, but Gruden was gone when that happened. We had something. It went to shambles. It's done. Then we go to the Patriot way with Josh McDaniels. That was just a really horrid 2 years. And didn't even get a playoff appearance, not even a winning season out of it. And now we're on Antonio Pierce. Now we're going 100 miles per hour deep into the Raider way, back into the Raider way. And not just the Raider way, the LA Raider way, the Compton Raider way, NWA Raider way. We're just going full throttle into the nostalgia of the Raider way. Except now it's the modern new Raider way, not the John Gruden one. It's the new one, new modern one, because now we're in Vegas. Now it's rebranded, everything like that. New head coach, new philosophy, new culture, team aura, hype. It's probably through the roof, more than it's ever been. Hasn't been like this ever since, probably since either 2016 Derek Carr, since we drafted Derek Carr, or since we rehired John Gruden as the head coach. And I feel like, because one thing that made me want to talk about this was because how today and the past few days specifically, keep seeing posts that talk about playoff win droughts. The Raiders and the Dolphins are the only teams that have not had a playoff win in 20 plus years. Raiders are second with, I think, 21 years of no playoff wins. Dolphins are the one team that has not had a playoff win in over 23 years. And the Dolphins are up at the moment. They got all their weaponry. They've been to the playoffs recently. They've been to the playoffs before, too. And if they get a playoff win at any moment, Raiders will be the team that has not had a playoff win for the longest. Now, that does put pressure on AP a little bit because how the season ended, even though it wasn't AP fully, he was mostly for about half a season. Raiders ended the season 8-9. I had them end 8-9.
James, appreciate you, bro.
In the preseason as my prediction because I felt like we weren't ready yet for a playoff push. I feel like we were developing to get there, but I feel like we weren't ready yet. And my prediction last year was that the third year was the year we at least make it to the playoffs. Whether McDaniels was the head coach or not. And now that we're here, I do feel like, especially how Adams is hyping it, how Max is hyping it, how if we feel really together, I do feel like AP needs to at least, even though it's going to be his first official full year, I do think he needs us to have a playoff appearance. A playoff win, I do feel like if you really want to, because I think your first official year as the head coach, you get us a playoff appearance. I think you've definitely made a name for yourself. You definitely got our attention. You definitely got the league's attention. Because you were an interim coach last year. You got us a playoff appearance. Got us a winning season, most likely. You definitely did good. But do you think that playoff win is the biggest need? Obviously, it's the biggest need every year. But for AP, Antonio Pierce successfully in his first official year, does he need that playoff win? Which is my question.
What was that last part? My bad. What did you say the last part was?
Like, so obviously the playoff appearance, I do think would automatically solidify him, put him on notice with the league, with the fan base, first official year. But that playoff win, does he need it? Like,
well, without the playoff win, how long do you think he lasts?
I feel like if he doesn't get a playoff win within perhaps say, I'll give it maybe 4 years.
You think they'll keep him around for 4 years without a playoff win?
Mark Davis is very lenient.
Especially with if you have Deion Sanders and his kids and everybody, that could be a possibility in the following. Like, I don't know if he's got a 4-year window, man. I mean, I think
that's what I'm questioning, because I'm questioning.
Yeah, I think at best, like
I'm
2.
questioning like how much, like, even though it's gonna be his first official year, is his first year. How long is this window to where we need a playoff win?
I would say 2 years, man. This year or next. I mean, if we were talking about everybody coming into the perfect situations and having a chance to go, I mean, he's in the perfect situation. You know what I mean? He's got best defense, best offense. Like he's not sitting here trying to rebuild his team and get going. They're only having a quarterback conversation at best, and maybe a cornerback conversation. You know what I mean? Like they're having those conversations. So I mean, you can't give him 4 years. I mean, come on, let's be real. Everybody getting a 4-year contract in a rebuild, it's like 2 years and your ass is fired if you're not doing shit. So if he has a team like this, dude, if he ain't winning, he ain't gonna be here.
I mean, for Gruden, he was winning and they let it go.
That was a different deal.
Yeah. Still bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's where I'm at because
I would say max.
Because with how much the franchise, the team, coaches, locker room is hyping it up, you're making it sound like we're having a playoff appearance. Okay, are you going to give me a playoff win? Because if we don't get a playoff win and Dolphins get a playoff win, we're going to be an even more bigger laughing stock. And I do not want to hear the end of it. Like, I do not want to hear. I don't want to hear the fan bases laughing at us about it because I don't want us to be the team that hasn't had a playoff win the longest.
Yeah, I think we would need to push for a playoff this year or next year for sure. Not a fan of that.
Like for this year specifically, I need a playoff appearance this year. I need it. I don't care if it's your first official year.
Get Wilkins and all these dudes and you can't even push for a playoff, you're in some trouble.
Because you went 8-9. I predicted you to go 8-9 before the season started last year. I'm now predicting you need a playoff appearance. Whether you win or you don't win. Within this year and next year, because I don't expect AP's contract to be no more than 3 years. So this year or next year, you need a playoff win.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Because if you don't get a playoff win either this year or next year, it's going to look bad. It's going to look bad. It's going to feel like a waste of time.
Yeah, especially with the money you put out, the players you went and got. I agree 1,000%.
Because if we don't even have at least a playoff appearance this year, I can't see all the hype that you did this offseason the same way. Because all I'm thinking about is, okay, but you didn't get a playoff appearance. You didn't put the league on notice. You didn't put the Chiefs on notice. You didn't put our division on notice. You're basically doing the same thing that we've all been hearing year after year. And we keep getting the same results, and it's either no playoff appearance or no playoff win. That's why if I see less than 8 wins this year, someone's getting fired. Because
we're under 6 wins.
If we're under 8 wins.
Oh yeah, I mean,
if we don't have a winning season this year, I don't care. Someone's getting fired.
I agree. I mean, like I said, you can't go out there and put all these people behind and not have, be like talking about playoff team and then not be a playoff team. Like you were literally right there. It was just shitty offense and so on at the time, so it just wasn't connecting. That's all it was.
Like I seen Mike Tomlin, even though he's a really elite coach. I've seen Mike Tomlin have the worst offenses imaginable, and he still takes that team to the playoffs somehow.
That's very true.
Like, especially with how the offense
and still have a chance to win a game.
Exactly. And since the offense is going to be, let's just say, a little more stable, I guess, more fluid, like when it comes to wins, I'm just going to be calling for someone's head if I'm seeing less than 9, maybe even less than 10 wins. Because it's going to look bad. Because I don't want to hear anything where it's his first year and all that, because he had half a year and I think he got 5 wins, 6 wins, especially with all the fiasco we had at the beginning of the season where he wasn't the head coach. So, and Billy, I hope I can have your optimism on that, because I feel like we should be in the playoffs this year. If we are not in the playoffs this year, it's because of these top 3 reasons. We are the unluckiest team imaginable. The injury bug decided to hit us again. With a coach suck. Coaches just suck. I don't want to say the players because it's the exact same players. We just added like one or two pieces that help push us a bit.
I mean, shoot, like I said, we got a lot of good pieces here, and we got the good depth pieces. I mean, overall, the conversations we talked tonight, one of the videos we're going to leave on tonight to end it, I mean, is just another added player that, again, just not, speaking about. I mean, we have a lot we have a lot of really good players here, man, that I think people should most definitely start paying attention to. I think we have a team that could win, especially with rotation, especially with depth, having just as good of starters as backups. I mean, look, AP, man, I think the reason that he would probably have such a be under the high scope as much as it is just because of the fact that things like I just said, you have a lot of depth and a lot of people here in personnel where you could actually be pretty decent. So I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much how I'd feel. I mean,
hey,
for
looking
playoff
at the
year, that'd be fire, Tony. If we got a home playoff win, that'd be fire, man. It's
hey, with
different this year. It's gonna feel different.
even with how much we're investing in the defense this year, we've invested over $100 million on the defense. That has not happened since Charles Woodson was a Raider, not on his second run and his first run as a Raider. And just by that, the Raiders have only spent over like 65 mil on the defense twice in like the past 10 years. And one of those years was 2016, where we made it to the playoffs. And that was 2020, where we had the worst defense imaginable. I don't know how we had the worst defense imaginable with that much money spent. We did.
Yeah, I mean, you look at our defense where we're sitting right now, and we still have $30 million out there. We can still hire a good player if we needed to, if that's what we were lacking. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like our team is just in the perfect spot, in my opinion. You're not going to go out and get a better quarterback at the moment. So I believe the quarterback is what it is. I mean, you're either drafting one or trading for one come next year. So offensively, I don't see us trading or going out and like putting some a lot of money. I have heard reports about Conklin over in the Browns, offensive lineman, that they could probably do something with him, but there's a lot of money still left on his contract. There's a lot of things with that. To me, I think if you're spending money, it's going to be on the defense. It's going to be the cornerback, and it's going to be somebody like what's his name from the Cowboys last year, frickin' Gilmore, Stephen Gilmore or Patrick Peterson type player. That would be the only ones I can think of. You know what I mean? So outside of it, I mean, I think our team is, like I said, I think offense and defensively, our team is one of the best teams all around, period. So if you're just looking at 5 teams in the NFL that got better rosters than us, I can name it. I don't think there is. And if I'm just being real, I don't think there is.
Yeah, especially, and obviously we're gonna get biased rankings where someone's gonna say Chargers and Broncos have better rosters than us, which I don't even know how that's possible. But okay. And the only reason they're gonna say this is because their QB situation, which that is the only reason. And even then, I feel like
it doesn't make sense that they'd give the Broncos higher rating than us, and then they're got a brand new quarterback too.
Yeah. Well, then they're gonna say they have Sean Payton.
Yeah, well, say they can lick the D.
Yeah. And even then, even if it says they have Sean Payton, I was like, listen, man, we beat you like 4 times with like different multiple head coaches by this point.
This is a player I do want to look at just before we bounce up out of here. I really do like this player. I think he's going to be a really good add to our linebacker core and our team. So I'm just take a minute so we can watch him.
Oh, yeah, I remember when we drafted this guy, everyone was like, "Oh, we drafted a younger Spillane."
This guy is a beast, man. He's a machine. He's a killer, dude. This guy can be a real difference maker, man, if he shows up. If he's healthy and if he comes with what he could have been, this guy can be a massive player for us right here. Injuries what plagued him, and this dude right here, I've said, boy, he can get an NFL body. He can become like an Urlacher type player. Boy, I'd watch out, man. I'd most definitely watch out for this guy. He is a very dangerous player, man. And I know there's people out here that'll sleep on this dude and say, oh, he went later and, this injuries plague. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of players that come back from injury and play better, or, if, is good, if not better. This guy right here, you had him on our line with Splain and them and Diablo and Masterson and them. This guy's going to be a difference maker. And I said, look at, how many positions do you have difference makers at every position that's coming out on the field? This guy gets after people. He gets after him quick as shit in the backfield, dropping 2-3 yards in the backfield. The dudes don't get ahead on him. He's a really good player. And I'm not going to lie, when we got the odds and picked him up, I was just like, wow, man, I couldn't even believe we got this guy. This guy right here, man, he can make us a whole nother level of defense here.
Yeah, linebackers are going to be something else, because one linebacker I'm really hoping makes an impact right now is Amari Burney. Burney's a big athletic freak, and I hope he gets to see the field. And it's going to be
if you were to move on from Diablo and Burney was to pop up, and then you have frickin' Ecklenberg here that can step up in there too. We're gonna have a fire team here, man. And that's just in the linebacker. You already got the D line.
Yeah, man. Defensively,
this guy would contain Kelsey big time. Kelsey tried to get underneath on us or try to do those little drag routes, little slant routes across, dude. This guy be all over him right here. He's big, he's strong, and he's fast, man. Look at him every time pushing through.
Defensively, this preseason is going to be something else. There's going to be so much competition.
Oh, man, I know. That's why I'm saying I almost want to go through the roster and look at it again, because there's going to be some dudes. There's going to be guys that are going to move people off this roster that been here for the last year or a few years,
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of
Turner. Turner, all these dudes. You got all kind of people, man.
There's going to be a lot of cuts that people aren't going to like to see.
Yeah, you got Gallup that's here, dude. That's hasn't even taken. Ooh, look at that dude got darted, bro.
I'm still shocked we got Michael Gallup.
Again, he ain't done nothing yet, dude, until they get into pads. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of players are going to change when that happens. I think this dude's going to be a nice ad. I think he's going to be a nice ad. But you have anything else you want to add or anything you want to talk about?
I got nothing.
All right, man. Outside of that, if you don't have anything else, man, then we're going to hop off here. So really do appreciate you popping up, being here. Really do appreciate it. If you want to give a shout out again before we get out of here, more than welcome.
Yeah. Shout out to Ozzy. Hope you're doing well, man. Really sucks that you weren't here tonight. It was a really good live tonight, really good talk. It was best reading your comments on it. Especially shout out to Billy too. Billy on his comments too. Really like that. Also shout out to.
We could also wait a few minutes and see if you want to answer some people's comments in the chat for a minute.
I'm pretty sure I answered.
Yeah, because we sit here and think, let's look at a defense freshman, 4 guys felt says 3 years. Playoff. This is really, yeah, we pretty much answered them as we were going. So we really do appreciate you guys chatting, but I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
Yeah. Shout out to the bums too in the chat. I don't know who they are. I'm not gonna say that I know who they are, but shout out to the bums in the chat too. Basically, shout out to anyone that's new, anyone that's old viewing the channel. Just know we try to have as much real talk as we can about Raiders and other teams. Try not to have as much bias as we can. We're content creators, but we're also people that like to be real with our sources and with other people's sources as well. This was honestly a really good live, really good talk, just basically about the rookies and evaluating how that's going to translate on the field. Basically, yeah, shout out to them too, and just shout out to the defense because this is going to be some wild preseason with the competitions.
Yeah, we're about to start camp here this week, so we'll most definitely have a lot more to talk about this week coming up. Player interaction, what they're doing with pads on, things like that. I think what is it like? It's going to be Tuesday, Thursday. So
apparently, we're the only team that's not going to have a camp with another team this year.
That's good, and we shouldn't, man. We got to get our shit first. Get our shit right first, then we can go play with other people. Like I think got to get yourself right before you can go start worrying about how you're worrying about other people. I've said if you're worrying about playing other people and your team ain't right, then you're battling two problems at one time. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather them stay in camp, focus together, get it in rhythm, then go battle a team. Because then it's only a few games. If you're sitting there having issues on both sides, and you're trying to battle with the team, you're trying to get continuity with your team, there's just too many moving things at one time. So I would agree not to do it with another team for right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since I don't want to hear any off-season bad news or like injuries or fights like that because I've been hearing way too much of that. Especially when teams, I feel like they do this on purpose. They always put two teams that really don't like each other, like how they kept putting us with the Niners, or how they put together like the freaking Browns, and I think they did it with the Browns and the freaking Steelers at one point, even the Bengals and the Rams after the Super Bowl. Like, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Why you guys keep putting teams that aren't in a good mood, or they don't like each other at the moment, or don't like each other at all? You're just causing either more injuries or just more problems before this preseason even starts.
That's facts. I really do, like I say, appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate everybody interacting. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please sub. Hit the bell with all notifications. We're live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays and Thursdays shows are Raider News. Saturdays is Raiders Active Fan Chat. So really do appreciate it. If you haven't followed my show, please sub to it. And if you haven't followed Ozzy's and the LVR Live, make sure to go up there and give him a follow too. Trying to grow all our channels together. Like I always say, go follow our Instagram, follow everything you can, man. Join the Discord, so on. So as we get going on to the season, we'll start putting things up there. We're going to actually start building fantasy leagues for the people that want to play fantasy football. We'll do giveaways in those leagues too. So like I said, we'll start getting everything going and getting them ready. The game's going to be here sooner than we know. So salute out. Appreciate you stopping by, bro. But long story short, we'll be having fantasy football. We'll have giveaways. We'll have all kinds of things. So I've always said, if you're not part of the Discord, go join up. If you look for a way to watch the games or interact with people while you're in there, if you don't have a way to see the games because they're either blocked out or you don't have internet, in the Discord, we stream every single game. There'll be, 20, 30, 40 people in that thing sometimes. So I always say, try to have fun in there, try to interact with other people. That's why we build the Discord, is to interact with your Raider fans and go from there. But I've always said everybody's welcome. If any people ever want to come up on the show, man, just DM me, let me know. You guys are more than welcome to come up, have interactions. Like I've said, we want to get to know the nation, get to know more people. We will have more lives, or I do have a lot of other people we're going to be bringing on the show as we go forward. Some debating purposes, some will just be talking purposes. But like I've said, I really do appreciate all of you guys. You have anything else you want to add or no?
I got nothing else.
All right, so outside of that, man, we'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a great night. Don't drink and drive. Raider Nation till I die, from the womb to the tomb, baby, man. Outside of that, we'll catch you on Tuesday. Again, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Really do appreciate it. Billy, Al, Tony, Ozzy, Seth. Pretty much everybody that's popped up through here, man. Really do appreciate all you guys. So thanks for chatting in the chat, man. Like I always say, go back to the video, leave a comment in there. Salute James, salute Jack. Like I say, salute to every person that's shown up here tonight, man. There's so many. I mean, Jeffrey, everybody. So the more you guys can interact in the chats, and the more you can interact on the post when the video is over, by giving it a like, interacting in the comments, things of those factors, it just helps the channel grow more. It helps the algorithm, helps it get out more. So really do appreciate it. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you on Tuesday, hopefully with some camp news, man. So peace out. Have a great night.